The Fair Board member.
All right. Welcome everyone. It is May 28th, 2025, 5 p.m. Work sessions are an opportunity for board members to discuss issues informally with staff and invited guests. The board encourages members of the public to attend work sessions and listen to the discussion, but there is generally no opportunity for public comment. Members of the public wishing to address the board are welcome to do so during the board's regularly scheduled meetings. Everybody has the rolling agenda in front of them. Any questions, comments on our agenda for this evening, or? No? All right, Monica, you had.
Yes, thank you, Vice Chair Banks. We have with us tonight the Fair Board members. Some are here virtually, some are also here in person. And then we have the Fair Board applicants, because you all will be interviewing the applicants for the 2 positions to appoint to the Fair Board. There is a name listed on the applicant list, Suzanne Hendricks. She did withdraw her application. She has other commitments at this time. So you have 4 individuals who will be interviewing tonight. And so we'll go ahead and just go in order, and I will scoot out of the way. And so there are, like I mentioned, there are Fair Board members here as well. And so if you want to have any follow-up questions with them as well, you're welcome to do so. But the questions for each applicant is on page 3 in your packet.
I need to run and grab my packet.
You're given questions. We typically have 3 questions. Well, we want to make sure we're asking the same questions of each applicant. And he left. I was going to say he could have my question.
Oh, let's see how much battery I have. Ooh, I'm good.
I don't think I.
They should be right.
Feel maybe about that. I can't see them.
Okay. And so,
Thank you. Who is first up on the
Desiree.
list? Desiree? Come on up, and you can come as we await electronics and loading, and Commissioner Wakua, there he is. You beat me. I'm still loading.
Thank you.
Let's just go. And the questions are on. Welcome. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you.
So you've had a moment to discuss the roles of our Fair Board members with Kyle, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Then we will just jump right into interview questions. Do you want to ask the first question?
Yeah. So can you tell us why you're interested in serving on the Fair Board, and what contributions do you believe you can bring to the fairgrounds?
So I have been in the area for going on 8 years, so kind of new compared to a lot of people. And I jumped headfirst into feet first into community events and activities and programs. And so I've been fortunate to be able to attend events at the fairgrounds. I've been contacted in the past by previous board members about collaborating with events at my previous employer, and we did that, and that was a great fun. And I, for the last several years, rent the exhibit hall to host a rather large winter bazaar that has grown so much. Like, we have 65 vendors and 50 people on the waiting list. And every single one of those vendors have asked for more opportunities and more time and more days. And so the need is there. We just lack space and facilities in the area to be able to provide more community events. And so I'd love to watch the calendar expand and grow especially with some of the creative events that have been put in there. And so I think with my experience of volunteering and working, I could help that.
You are almost a local with eight.
Yeah.
I believe that I am 100%. I've always wanted to live here. I made it happen. Here I am.
There you go. Good, good. So what is your understanding of the role and responsibilities of the Fair Board, including any ethical considerations or potential financial conflict of interest?
Well, as I understand it, it's to help the fairgrounds run under the policies and protocols set forth by the board itself, commission, and the Oregon statute law.
Mhm. And would there potentially be any ethical considerations that you may have or any potential conflicts of interest?
No, not for me.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us tonight and for applying.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. The third question, how do you see the fair and fairgrounds contributing to both economic development, such as supporting local businesses, creating jobs, promoting tourism, as well as to community life as a space for celebrating culture and building social connections? So money and community.
Like I stated before, I've watched over the last few years, more events be added to the calendar, more creative type events, more different variety of events, which has been really nice to watch and be a part of. I think there's only room for more. And, like, for example, with the events that I personally host, people want more. They want more makers and they're local artisans that bring their stuff in. We have people who come from all over the state. I've personally been contacted by people from Bend who are asking about other events in the area for the same weekend because they want to come, but they want to do more as well. And like I say, the vendors want more. They want more opportunity to do things. And that just brings more people into the area. It brings in more money to the area. It brings more, I want to say, like, knowledge other than just what everyone thinks about when they think of Astoria, which is like, you know, the big stuff that's coming up in the next couple of weeks, it's the Goonies and all the stuff that everyone associates with Astoria, but let's make it focus more on the artistry and the community and the agricultural part of it. All of that is important to the region, and to bring it all into one space that people are familiar with and comfortable with would be just better, just more.
So you have a vision and experience.
I would like to think that I do. Thanks.
Well, thank you so much. And can I ask how to pronounce your last name?
Danakis.
Sinakis.
Mhm.
Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Thank you. You absolutely can.
Is a Greek name?
It is. I'm married into it.
All right.
Yep.
Thought I recognized.
Gladly. I gladly married into it.
Oh, yes. I hope you're a good book now.
Of course.
Of course.
Thank you.
Married, you wouldn't have left.
So I apologize, Monica. I am a visual person. What applicant pulled their application again? What applicant pulled their application?
Suzanne, the very last.
Okay, the very last. Thank you. Perfect. Catherine Lucan is,
My middle name is Chinnery, which is what I go by. Hi,
Chinnery.
I'm Chinnery Luckett.
Oh.
How are you all? When I
Nice
sit
to
here, I
meet
don't know if
you.
I'll get up, but. That's so funny. Go ahead, please.
Oh, goodness. So you've had a chance to,
We have had many chances.
oh,
Yeah,
wonderful.
we've talked a lot in the past year, actually. I've only been here.
Oh.
Very,
Well, welcome.
thank you.
We love our new friends. So Commissioner Webb, do you want to start with the first question?
Might be happy to. Excuse me. Thank you. I've got it right in front of me. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome in many ways.
Thank you.
What brought you here?
Okay, fun. I'm trying to be brief, but Tryla Bumstead, who owns the company I work for, she owns a HANA Media Group, and I was working in that industry. She and I knew each other in Seattle. And she hired me to come and run this market for the digital acquisitions because we have a huge digital stable. And I've been in radio, TV sales, digital management for Salem Media Group, iHeart, Citadel, my whole career. And I wanted to end my career, which is another couple of years, in a smaller market. And drove down for a market visit and said, yeah, I can do this. This is, I mean, it's everything that Seattle had, but only easier to appreciate and enjoy with water and, you know, and wildlife and everything. So, but I have to say the elk in my yard was a big adjustment.
Well, get used to
I'm not crying my eyes because I put some, but it was very.
I cried over my rose bushes, it's fine.
Oh, so yeah, so that's how I got to help this market grow.
Cool.
Yeah. Cool.
So why are you interested in being on the fair board?
Well, I've been on several boards in my lifetime. The best was the Army Advisory Board in Southern California when I lived there and worked for iHeart, but and the Dr. Laura program. But mostly I have a lot to give. I've got I'm a networker. I like things to happen. I like to make people happy, and I love this guy and I want to see him succeed. Our young professionals need to win, and it's just something that I'm just kind of passionate about, and I think that there's ways to grow, and I have the expertise to do it, and I'm still active. So let's, I've got time, just me and my dog, so I'd love to do it.
Wonderful, wonderful.
I thought you were saying you love me.
I do love you. Well, no, I'm not as much as him, but you.
Commissioner Watson.
Thank you for calling. So question 2, what is your understanding of the role and responsibilities of the Fair Board, including any ethical considerations or potential financial conflicts or interests?
Okay, so no ethical financial conflicts or conflicts of interest, but I feel like it'd be kind of presumptuous for me to say what I really understand about the board. I think that as a task-oriented person, I would try and make sure that the tasks at hand were accomplished and the way they were supposed to be accomplished, and respect the protocol and, and the credibility of the board. I don't know really how it's answered because I've never been on a fair board before, so I wouldn't know.
Excellent.
Fair.
Okay.
Good answer.
I love your honesty.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
So how do you see the fair and the fairgrounds contributing to the economic development of our community? Such as local businesses and creating jobs, promoting tourism, as well as to like the community and, celebrating our culture and our social community and connections.
So this isn't my wheelhouse. So I feel like that's two different things. So locally, what does and you talk about the grounds, there's so much space. Why are we not utilizing all the space? And Colin and I talked about sponsorships. If it's as simple as selling signs and logos, I can do that. But is there an opportunity for first finding out what the need is, who wants to go where, who wants to be where, but young professionals have a problem here. People coming into the market. One thing I learned is it's really hard to live here. There's no place to live. Rent is difficult. We have young professionals that come in and go out. Why? I mean, so can we offer them something there? Jobs maybe, but forums or relationships or meet and greets or whatever that might be. So just as far as other things that the fair can do as far as the grounds, I mentioned to Kyle, why don't we have weddings out there? Is that silly? I don't know. Is it?
Me too.
Okay,
I
we
know.
need more weddings. More people need to get married. So, but what I'm saying isn't anything you haven't thought of. But as far as bringing tourism in, that wheelhouse is very strong for me because that's all done with marketing that I know how to do. Digital. I can buy any radio station in the across the United States or any TV station. So that's really my wheelhouse of making sure the money's well spent. The cost per points are right. All the things that I know how to look at. So you're not getting ripped off and spending $50 a commercial when you should be spending 10. So, but bringing in people is reaching out to people to bring them in. Like, this is why you want to come. And that's all done with outreach marketing and oftentimes a list that you just call, just networking.
Excellent. Do you have anything else that you wish to share or?
Well, I could stay here all day.
I appreciate, thank you for coming in and
No,
thank you.
my
for
pleasure. Yeah,
applying
I just,
and
we all need to win. So we should all go home happy.
I love it. Thank you so much. Stephanie Pedraza. Come on down. Welcome. Thank you for coming. And I just want to say. Your girl.
She's good.
Good.
She has specific presentations tonight.
Well, we'll get you out of here as
Yeah.
fast as possible. All right. Commissioner Thompson.
Well, I'm just back to the Pacifica.
Mhm.
That's such an astonishingly wonderful community event at Seaside High School. Kids come in and say what they're about.
Mhm.
It's the future coming into reality. Okay, unsolicited testimony. Why are you interested? Thank you for being here. Why are you interested in serving on the Fair Board? What contributions do you believe you can make?
I'm interested in serving because I believe the fairgrounds is a business and the fair is a business. And I would like to see attendance back up. I'm glad that the levy passed. I'm hoping to see more use out of the fairgrounds, more party rentals, more events out there besides, you know, the few that we have, Scandinavian Festival. Yeah, I just feel like I could contribute to events.
Thank you. Commissioner Webb?
What have you learned about what the responsibilities, are, serving on the board?
I've learned that it's planning the fair and planning, doing budgets. Adding more events and making decisions. And I have no conflicts of interest that I know of, and if I did, I would let you know as far as ethical. I'm a 20-year-old or 20-year 4-H leader. So that's what I bring to the table as far as helping with planning everything, and I'm not on the auction committee. Not that that's a bad thing, I'm just saying.
No.
So that would be a conflict to me as far as that goes. But, so I feel like I'm an advocate for the kids, and also my husband is Hispanic, so I feel like I bring to the table, a voice in the Hispanic community for all your rentals that you do for, quinceañeras and weddings and stuff.
Excellent. Mr. Waku?
As far as question 3 goes, how do you see the fair and the fairgrounds contributing to both economic development, such as supporting local businesses, creating jobs, and promoting tourism, as well as to the community life as a space for celebrating culture, and building social connections? And that's a big question. I can break it down.
Well, I mean, I think I touched on that already. More rentals for quinceañeras and parties. More celebrations out there, more craft fairs, like the other gal said. And also, I mean, I work in the tourist industry, so I've worked at Moe's Restaurants for over 20 years, so that's where I make my money, is in tourism, and that's how we've raised our family on tourism dollars, so I definitely agree. Anything tourist related is great. How you would add it into the fairgrounds, I don't know. I know for years we tried to do like a beach theme on the fair to get more people there, and that doesn't usually work, so I don't really have any ideas on that, but I would definitely love to be on the board and talk about it.
I appreciate it.
Anything else that you'd like to share with us before we let you go to your Pacifica?
No, that's it.
Okay. Well, if you get a chance to see your girl, wish her luck for me.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Next, individual Abigail Goodman is. Come on down. Oh, I just went price of right. Sorry. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I will go ahead and start with our first question. Why are you interested in serving on the fair board, and what contributions do you believe you can bring to the fairgrounds?
Yeah, so I'm interested in serving on the fair board because I've lived in Astoria my whole life. Yeah. And I've grown up attending events at the fairgrounds, and I've seen firsthand how beneficial the fairgrounds is to our community. And I would like to serve alongside the other board members just to help the fairgrounds continue to grow and thrive for future generations. And I think I'd be beneficial to the fair board because I have good problem solving skills. I work well in group settings, and as we all know, we live in a very diverse community. And everyone has a different opinion about the direction of the fairgrounds, and I just think I could have an ability to mesh everyone's ideas together, so it's a better outcome for everyone, and hopefully you can't make everyone happy, but hopefully try your best to.
You're right, you can't make everyone happy, but I love it.
I'm waiting till she runs for the county board of commissioners. Thank you for coming tonight. What's your understanding of the role and responsibilities of the fair board, including any ethical considerations or potential conflicts of interest?
Yeah, so starting off, I don't see any potential conflicts of interest. For the roles and responsibilities of the fair board, there's a lot that goes to being in the fair board. You're required to go to your monthly meetings, and then on top of that, if you have to have workshops for regular session, for special session, the fair board oversees the fairgrounds as a whole, and then their biggest thing is they put on fair. They make decisions about like maintenance for the fairgrounds. I know this year they have made the decision to put a new roof on a portion of the building because the building leaks. They create the strategic plan, they approve the fairgrounds budget, they make the decisions about events, so like rentals, and if the organization wants their fees reduced or removed, they go before the fair board and the fair board decides that. And they just work together to create ideas for additional sources of revenue. And then when the fairgrounds host a specific event, like the rodeo they did last year themselves, I know the fair board helps with that. And then the biggest thing the fair board's in charge of is fair. And so everything outside of 4-H and FFA with fair, they do themselves. They do the marketing, the advertising, they find all the vendors, they do the concert. And then like this year, they decided to bring the carnival back for next year in the next couple of years. So just everything with fair, they do themselves, and then they help after all week wherever they're needed. So,
Great answer.
Thorough.
Yeah.
Thorough.
Excellent.
Mr. What?
Are you a working person?
I work at home, and I do permitting. My family has a project management company.
Oh.
So I do all the permitting for.
Oh, good job. Good job. That's right down my alley. So you dabble in business a bit. So what kind of a force for economic development do you think that the fairgrounds all year long? How do you think, we're very much a tourism economy focused on the beach, et cetera.
Yeah.
But how do you think it could be more of an economic driver in a community?
Yeah, so I mean, the fairgrounds is an excellent place for local businesses to promote themselves. Like in the arena, there's spots where businesses can promote themselves year round by buying sign space. And then when there's events hosted at the fairgrounds, businesses that do sponsorships, they are able to have signs like at the concert. If you've been in the concert, you'll see the big banners for all the businesses that did the sponsorships. And then when other events are held at the fairgrounds, like the winter bazaar and stuff like that, you have local people come in that are able to sell goods and promote themselves. And then, I mean, the fairgrounds attracts people from all over for different events. And then not just from here, but when we bring in tourists, as we know, our community like is on the revenue of tourism. And so when there's events at the fairgrounds, you're bringing in tourists, which then helps our community because when they're here, they shop locally, they eat locally. So even the businesses that aren't at the fairgrounds for an event are seeing the benefits of the fairgrounds events. And then also when the fairgrounds the fairgrounds for fair, when they bring in additional staff to help with fair, that's also creating more jobs and helps our community. And then just overall, the fairgrounds is a gathering place for locals and tourists that come here. And so there's a variety of events for all different people throughout the year. And so it just brings everyone together. And then the two biggest events for the fairgrounds would be outside the fair would be Crowd Fest and Scan Fest. And those are just two events that celebrate our community's culture.
Is there anything that you wish to share with us other than,
Do you have any other questions for me?
you don't? Thank you so much for your application and for coming to visit with us.
Thank you.
All right. So I have a question. When I couldn't read the fine print without my glasses, but when are we looking to?
This comes before your board, I believe on June 11th. Yes, and so, I know that there are some fair board members who are really present. They have a role personally, and so I think that they're going to be, following. To be able to provide them their input, and then the fair board will share that with. We'll share the fair board information with the board, and then the board will make that decision on the June 11th.
Any discussion, further discussion?
No bad answers to the question. Who could be appointed?
Good
Fair board.
candidates. I
Yeah.
think in my 8 years.
Wonderful.
It's terrific. It's a terrific to have so many
And are we,
enthusiastic, experienced, a wide variety.
Just a spectrum, yeah.
Nice.
well,
It's
a lot
nice.
to offer.
Yep,
Everyone has a lot. to
Absolutely.
offer.
Yes, and you will be appointing two.
Two, okay. Yes, I would love for the fair board to come back with recommendations. Or. Sorry, wait for the siren to pass.
Need more open positions.
But yeah, no, I would love, for the fair board to come back with, because it's gonna be a large body working together, and I would love their input before we make a decision.
They meet on Tuesday, and so they'll have that conversation and now do your work.
Perfect, thank you. Any further discussion?
I'm just
Okay.
grateful for the wealth of experience and skills, interest. It's wonderful.
I'm excited that so many people are interested.
Appointments to Recreational Lands Planning and Advisory Committee. I was like,
No, I think he's, already online.
and I don't know who is presenting because I don't have that written down.
Corey is participating
I see now.
virtually. He is our parks manager. And so he will be presenting the information regarding the 3 applicants for the Reclands Committee.
That's where we went.
Hello, commissioners. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
My name is Corey Johnson. I'm the park supervisor for Clatsop County Parks Department. We have an opening, an open position on the Recreational Lands Planning and Advisory Committee. Recently, Brad Catton, he's the current district operations coordinator for ODF. He was serving for Commissioner District 3 on our board. And just as a reminder, our Recreational Lands Planning and Advisory Committee is a group of volunteers that are appointed by the board, excuse me, to help develop long-range plans for county parks and changes to county's comprehensive land use plan related to recreational lands. I had an opportunity to speak on the phone to all 3 applicants that we received. We received an application from Matthew Grantham. He's in Commissioner District 1. Frank Snyder, who's in Commissioner District 2, and Hayden Llewellyn from District 3. Kind of similarly to what you folks just did, I asked them just the same questions, a series of questions, if they were familiar with county parks, if they had served on an advisory committee before, and just also tell me a little bit about their interest in county parks. Matthew Grantham, he, like Brad, he works for ODF. He is a parks professional or a outdoor recreation professional. He has a bachelor's degree in parks and recreation management, and he has extensive experience working for a variety of different agencies, working in outdoor recreation. He's been living in the county for 7 years now, and he does have a familiarity with the county parks, particularly with Clutchie, and he's led advisory meetings in his own agency. And the reason that he's interested in pursuing this position is that he's looking for opportunities to increase his involvement in the community. Frank Snyder has lived in the county for 68 years. He lives in the vicinity of Cullowhee Lake, so he's very familiar with that park. He served for a number of years on the American Legion, on their board, and he's a regular user of Cullowhee Lake and Sunset Lake and has a vested interest in the operations at those parks. Lastly, Hayden Llewellyn from District 3. He moved to the county recently as well. I believe it was 6 years ago. He's had a long time interest in outdoor recreation. He has extensive experience serving on advisory boards. He was worked on the board of an environmental nonprofit, and he stated that he was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis 12 years ago, and he would bring sort of a different perspective, particularly in regards to ADA issues, to the Recommends Committee. So I guess, so one thing to keep in mind is that whenever possible, we try to provide member representation from each of the county's 5 districts. To that end, probably Hayden Llewellyn would be the best candidate. However, I would urge you folks to also seriously consider Matthew Grantham, just due to the, wide variety of his experience and the depth of his experience in the parks field. Do you folks have any questions for me?
I do.
Commissioner Thompson.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Johnson, I appreciate your briefing of us. I like your shirt as well, just saying. Commissioner Webb has often voiced her fervent wish that we were able to do more long-term planning in terms of parks and recreation. If I heard you correctly, I'm thinking that Mr. Grantham may have a stronger background if the committee wanted to take some activities toward that end of doing some longer term planning. Is that a reasonable supposition on my part?
I can't speak directly on his experience with long-term planning, but he certainly has on-the-ground experience through multiple different agencies. Excuse me. He's worked for BLM, Forest Service, Alaska State Parks, and now Oregon Department of Forestry. So he's seen, from the ground view, a lot of different agencies, and I think that would be a useful perspective when we're considering and shaping our own future of our agency. So I couldn't, I don't want to put words in Mr. Grantham's mouth, but I feel like he'd be well positioned to help us move forward with long-term planning.
Thank you.
Commissioner Webb.
Wasn't there also, Corey, an applicant from the city of Astoria? Did he drop out?
That was for a prior open position that was filled by Mike Hinton. He was interested in the position, and then I later called and contacted him, and he was no longer available. So that was for a prior open seat. That wasn't for this open seat.
So that was, okay, thank you. Thank you, Corey. I've been with this committee for 6 or 8 years, and I didn't really think there was a Corey Johnson because I heard his name all the time. And Steve would always say, well, Corey will take care of that. Corey will take care of this. And there he is. Terrific. Thank you, Corey. Thank you very much. Thanks for the plug for the comp plan adjustment. You're going to get points for that. I'm bringing you coffee to tomorrow. So we have a meeting tomorrow. This, once again, it's an embarrassment of riches. Great candidates, terrific. I can say that one of the things, Brad, I'm sad to be losing Brad because he was a wonderful member of the committee and it really helps to have somebody from ODF. Because they tend to be familiar with the landscape very large. And so they really have a lot of input, and somebody who's a pro at the recreation side. I think that's pretty exciting, I think. We do have a present member of the committee who is in a wheelchair, who's been a member, John Sayer, who's been a member of the committee for a very long time. And he's a wonderful advocate for ADA issues, which are really coming to the forefront in recreation right now. We're getting ready to build a playground at our new Westport and our boating park. And he's always advocating for, let's make sure that people of all sizes and capabilities, and he's very expert. So I'm not it would be great to have another person who cares about that, but we know that in Parks of the Future, this has to be something that we pay very close attention to.
Any other discussion, questions? I will say Brad is going to be hard to replace. I've worked with him in other venues and he is an excellent human and very knowledgeable. And I do agree, it is good to have a connection with the Department of Forestry, especially with just in regards to, it's a common topic of conversation. They have parks. Sounds like this other individual is well-versed in recreation
And he
and
knows our landscape so well.
yeah.
The other thing is that Brad has been chair of the committee for the last couple of years.
Hard to
And
replace.
he's really done a very, very good job. I've already told him that we're not gonna be replacing. We're gonna be,
They are very big shoes to fill.
we're gonna, take him out to lunch every couple of months.
Any other,
Now that we know who Cory is.
hearing none? Thank you so much for joining us, Corey. It's nice to put a face to a name. And we appreciate all of your work for us, and county parks, so.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, let's, rolling agenda review. I'm sorry, I apologize. I dusted that up into our formal agenda review. Has everyone had a moment to look at the rolling agenda?
Yes,
Okay,
I have a question.
yes.
Is our person from the workforce board, he has been rescheduled, right? Right. It's at the end of the, okay.
I need my glasses. And Monica, did you have anything?
For the rolling agenda or the legislative update or,
Well, we're not,
oh, okay.
we'll get to legislative updates.
I did not have anything to add to the rolling agenda. No,
Okay,
thank you.
anybody? All right, let's move to the legislative update, because I'm actually really curious about what's going on.
And I'm gonna have Amanda come on up. Obviously, since I am here and Dawn is not, Dawn is down in Salem. Orla requested to have another, as well as the chair Nathanson, requested to have a follow-up meeting. And so that is where he is at today.
I feel like that's good news. I'm just gonna, I'm hoping it's good news.
So Amanda is here to give you an update as well as answer any other potential questions that you might have. We did receive good news today in regards to recreational immunity, so I don't know if you want to come on with that.
Please share.
Yeah, thank you for having me. The recreational immunity bill did pass, and so that's been signed by the governor now.
Oh.
So is that just a Band-Aid or is that a long-term fix?
It, from what I understand, it, makes permanent and temporary, fix, yes. Does anybody have any questions about that?
Can I just make a comment? I thought that it was really cool in Don's last Friday report for him to give us an interactive click on different bills. I know that's usually your gig, and I bet you did it. But
You made him look.
it looked really familiar, but it was very cool. It was really cool to have it be all right there, and it was terrific. I spent way too much time clicking. But it was really informative, and it's a great, so thank you for all your,
Yeah.
and can I just add to that? I threw a curveball at Amanda earlier. Was that earlier this week, late last week?
Mhm.
I got a panicked call from Melissa Paget at Job Corps. And I just can't imagine that anybody in any administration would do away with Job Corps, and it just, so we, as of today, we've heard back from all of our federal staffers with the right people in their offices too. That made me happy that the right people responded. So we're on it. And I don't know, I have been surprised that the newspaper, or I haven't, KMUN, nobody has mentioned this. And I'm surprised because, you know, they're a major employer. They're the only maritime program in the United States in a Job Corps. We push that really, really hard. They employ a lot of people who live here locally, and they take a lot of our young people. So everybody go home and write a letter. I think we don't have to worry about our delegation with this one. They're in it. This is education and training are big things with all three of them, so.
Yeah, and I forwarded the response that we got from Aspen, Congresswoman Bonamici's staffer, just expressing that they're engaged on this issue and will let us know next steps as things develop. And so I passed that along to Melissa at 10 Point Job Corps to kind of loop her in, and our CFM federal team was on that email, so they're looped in as well.
She's very appreciative. So we're on it.
I don't have any additional stuff with the TLT. Other than that, conversations are ongoing, and we'll let you know. Hopefully there'll be a work session and an amendment to the bill that we've been advocating for, but we'll see how that goes. And then the only other bill, I believe all of you are aware, but the HOA bill did not meet the second chamber deadline, so that bill did die. However, the chief sponsor, Representative Javity, continued to express interest in the bill and continuing to work on it for the next session. So that's good that conversations are ongoing, and that there's still a chance. It hasn't officially died though. Other than that, I didn't have any other updates. Did anybody have any questions for me?
I just had a thought, because I fell down a rabbit hole of HOA. And it appears that there's no way to dissolve an HOA. And I'm just wondering if in the future, when it comes to this conversation, maybe next year for the short session or the next long session, is like, that just seems almost ludicrous to me that if an HOA is struggling, that there's no way to dissolve it and then reopen something else, an entity that can handle the burden. Or
you can do that. You can do that. So I hope that this bill doesn't negate that, because you have to be, but the issue in Oregon is that an HOA is intrinsic to the ownership of the property.
right, and yeah, exactly.
And so it's part of what the person is buying when they buy a property. And so I've seen several of them in the valley have to be reconstituted,
Okay,
either from people.
so
dying or-
reconstituted is the word that I should use then when I'm trying to,
Yeah.
because I was just looking at, I mean, it's just a sad, difficult situation for this particular, I mean, when I think about those, I mean, 100 maybe, landowners out there. I don't know. It's just a difficult situation. And so I was just trying to, when I'd heard that this HOA, bill and the directions that it was going, I was like, there's gotta be a way to help these people, these individuals. So anyhow, I'm just in rabbit holes.
I
That's
believe
all.
it's 250 something.
Okay.
It's not a lot, and it's a very heavy burden for such a small group of people. So anyhow. Thank you. Fire funding. Have we heard about the fire funding bill?
Is that? Are you talking about SB 83 having to, I think that has to do with the mapping, actually.
That one's, yeah, that's the map.
Yeah, if I'm remembering correctly, most all funding bills are kind of stuck in Ways and Means right now.
Okay.
And so,
Time of year.
yeah, so the update that you had mentioned, that kind of listed the bills that, are on our high priority kind of watch list. It's hard because some of that is deceiving, especially when you see that big list of Ways and Means, because it's not clear whether that means something can move forward or not, because the funding that will be available, is very limited. But I know that funding for fire suppression and efforts is a priority that the governor has talked about, so I imagine something will evolve with that.
All right, any other questions?
I will ask, if we could move into executive session, to talk, about a matter that Heidi and, Heather will also, participate in. So I'll just ask if everybody else could please step outside of the room, so we can quickly brief you on a matter. And if we're here for the work session, you're welcome to stay for the meeting at 6, but we will just ask you to leave briefly while we go into executive session. I think I wrote-
Sorry. Let me know when
You want to grab your?
hit to go.
Anthony, I got one here for you.